Good evening, everybody. I'd like to call the June 15th Planning Board to order. We have some minutes to go over, some old business, some communications, and then we're going to conclude the meeting and go into a workshop. May 4th and June 1st minutes. I was not at either one of these.
May 4th you were.
Oh, okay. All right, May 5th.
I wasn't.
All right.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, I don't believe you can approve the May 4th because you don't have enough people here that were at the meeting.
Yeah, there's 4.
Okay, as long as there's the 4.
Yeah, there's the
Okay.
4. So Clarkson,
Yeah.
me, Judy,
Yeah.
you were.
So the only people who can vote are myself, Lee, Judy, and Judy on that.
I make a motion that we,
All right, motion to accept May 4th. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Judy seconds. Any discussion? All 4 in favor? I was not at the June 1st one.
No.
And was anyone at that?
No, Judy
This-
were.
Judy.
This one we can't vote on.
Right. We only have, this one we can't. We only have 3 members. Okay, so June
The
1st.
site walk.
Huh?
The site walk.
No, even,
Well, you
For
only have
the
2
minutes,
members
we
here
don't
for
have
the,
the
yeah,
members.
because Dwayne is not present.
Yeah.
Correct.
So that's tabled. All right. Old business. Dave Abbott, Brooks Dance Center Amendment. I saw you there.
I think you've got all got a small picture so far of the new front plan. And so we're coming with to the board to amend the front elevation of the building. It was the plan that the board originally got had some stone veneer on it, which really it was designed in by the architect. It was never in the plan of the building to start with. The plans that the code enforcement officer got when it was done for a building and for permitting and stuff like that already had the rocks taken off from it. And then we have a new entryway of steel, and the way that structure is going to be made a little bit different. So now 2 colors, a border, and then a different entryway.
I have comments. When you brought this plan before us, it was very well executed. It had great detail, including landscaping, including stonework. You mentioned stonework. Everything in the findings mentioned stonework. And you not only, and then when you brought it to Glenn, you didn't have stonework, you had clapboard.
No, we didn't have clapboards. The architect had taken the stone off because we had told her there wouldn't be any stone on the front. And she had just actually laid in
But
a
we
different
approved
texture.
it with stonework. And then when you brought it to Glenn, I don't think he was at that meeting. You gave it to him with clapboard on the bottom, and it still doesn't have that. So why do you come before the planning meeting is my question.
Because
Why do you come before the planning board if you're not going to do what you say you're going to do?
Well, we had no idea that cosmetics was involved because of any architectural
It was
standard.
brought up at the very first meeting. I brought it up.
Yeah, you brought up the architectural desire.
Yes.
What it looked like.
And we were told we have no standards
But
and
was
that it would
there-
be expensive. And so we backed off because we have to back off.
Right.
But you still didn't do what you showed us.
Correct. We had made a change in the plans. There's been changes inside.
But you didn't come to the planning board with that change.
We felt the building was the same. The only changes would be for Glenn to change, which would be structural or anything like to do with
And
that.
my question remains, why bother with us?
Okay, I'm gonna.
Because you-
I'm gonna.
I'm
stop.
sorry.
Yeah. I get where you're going on it.
Yes.
Is there anybody else from the board have any questions, Lee?
The showed stone on it, it probably should have been there, or at least brought back to us to say, hey, we decided we couldn't afford the stone or don't want the stone.
If I change the outside color of the building, or if I did something like that, that is actually nothing to do with structural, nothing to do with anything but architectural standards or cosmetics, which is not what the site plan was for. Nothing has changed for grounding, for landscaping, sidewalks, all that stuff that's not done yet. So the problem is a perceptive view of it, and even in Rob's description, when they started talking about stone, he said it would be aesthetically pleasing. All right. Now, unfortunately, you didn't hear Doug Jr. and I say over there that we had already discussed the stone, and they said there's no way we're going to be able to put stone on the front of that building. But that's the architectural how she had drawn it up. But I should have just left it blank then. It's just a blank cover. Okay, and it would have still been the same building, and it was actually everything still would have been the same.
I understand you followed all the codes.
Correct.
I know that.
And that's the point, I guess.
Katie, Judy? I guess I feel the same way. It's sort of like, we were presented a design. I mean, I actually don't go that way at all, so I didn't see it until Judy brought it up. And it's, definitely didn't look anything like what
Right.
we saw, at our end. And I agree with it. It's we see a conceptual.
Correct. And that was a proposal, and again, we had an architect that had taken a lot of liberties inside the building also that we had to clear up, that different things she had put in and just things that shouldn't have been there because we were getting a proposal of the building. We weren't getting a proposal of what color it was going to be or how it was certain look. We had to do the outside, and that's what we get the site plan for.
Why weren't we informed that that wasn't what you were expecting?
I guess we didn't feel that cosmetics, the first thing is it's been kind of plain that cosmetics aren't your jurisdiction right now, unless you get some architectural standards. So why would we have to come back? Because really it's not your call at that point.
I agree on it, but it's just...
And again, we assumed we were wrong because we kind of thought when they give the other plans to Glenn, it was a foreseen thing that was going to change. We still had other changes we did inside, which have been being approved and so on and so forth. Cosmetics really wasn't in our mind, tell you the truth, with the front. Everything was structural was going to look the same. The entryway, what she had made versus what actually Littlefield Builders had proposed to us. Basically, we got one of his proposals on the front of it, which was one of his first drawings to us. So
It was very professional, and it was a completed drawing. And that's what we approved.
Yeah, I guess, it still goes back to the applicant. You still had the ability to, you presented us with a drawing that showed stone. If you knew it wasn't going to be stone, you should have just said, this is an image, it's not what we're going to build. But, because you're right, we don't have design I actually liked the front because it sort of was going towards that, it still kept the conceptual, but it was an effort to help, right now that stretch is still primarily residential. That is going to be our...
202 is a commercial zone.
Yeah, it is.
Right, commercial zone, and that's a subdivision, basically, or whatever you want to call it, for business.
But even if you compare your building to, used to be Arctic or Skylights,
Yeah.
How and how.
how. That's
Yeah.
at least they break up their front a little bit.
Yeah, they've added
so,
the stuff on it way back.
this is the first time I've ever had this happen on the board. So, our question is, we really don't have the authority to change it. But I guess the question is, to code enforcement, does it change anything, with the building?
I don't look at cosmetics. I look at the structure, the utilities, mechanics, the fire.
We've jumped through many hoops for that building already, doing extra tests and doing extra things to make everybody happy. And it's cost a lot of money, and basically, and again, but I'm not going to say it's money because we hadn't planned on putting the rocks on to start with.
It looks like a warehouse.
That's your belief.
If I may,
There's many buildings that look a lot worse.
I'm
I got one
sorry.
across the street.
Okay, let Glenn speak.
I think there's plenty of blame to go around. I should have picked up on this earlier in the game. I didn't. I think this is a learning night. The planning board from here on in needs to say out loud that, the plans you submit, this is what we expect to have on the site. And I don't think the planning board made that clear, and I know I didn't make that clear that night. And if it's made clear here in the future, then we probably won't have the situation that we're in tonight. I know that wasn't made clear to Mr. Abbott. We're looking at this picture, this is what we expect to see when you're done your project. I don't think that was made clear.
It was Mr. Foglio who was standing up there, the young Mr. Foglio.
Well, he wasn't
I
speaking.
don't know if Mr. Abbott was here or not.
Yeah,
I don't
Mr. Abbott's the
remember
applicant tonight, and he was the applicant then, so he bears that responsibility. So, you know, I think there's plenty to blame here tonight, so it's done, the building is there, so now we concentrate on the fix.
So I mean, the fix really is just the portical entry?
There, right, the colors, and then there's actually still a piece going on, and then we still have the structure on the front for the entry,
So
which
you
is a
still have
superstructure.
So you still have a wide band,
There's a plastic or a wooden band. I think it's plastic actually.
that separates the two colors.
Separate the colors, goes around it, and then with this is a superstructure, steel structure, big post that eventually, I mean, some of the original drawings had actually, of course, the sign up in here.
Yep,
That would be a separate
yep.
permit.
So is that, because if you look at your south elevation, it doesn't project from the side of the building, so that's just a facade on the front of the building?
No, it goes all the way around.
No, the
portal
metal,
entrance.
the portical entry, because it doesn't show on,
Oh, it's
That doesn't
yeah. She
project
didn't.
off the
Oh,
front.
she didn't put it out. Yeah. No, that is actually 6 feet.
okay.
All right,
It
it's
is.
base, big post, almost like I-beam posts coming up.
So it's supported independently from the building?
Independently from the building.
Okay.
Correct. That's not attached to the building. It actually looks like it is, but I mean,
Yeah.
it's sort of-
Yeah, so I should probably see a drawing of that.
yeah, there is a drawing of that separate piece.
That I have?
I don't think so.
Okay.
How's the sign gonna look? Is there
Well,
gonna be a
again, the whole
sign
thing,
on
we have
the
to get
building?
approval for here, but it was like a round sign. What
Yeah,
was
you're-
pictured in there originally was a round sign that like she has down on the
Mm-hmm,
original thing. So it's a small round sign that inserts into that.
Still up on the gable.
Yeah, it goes into the gable, right?
Up here or down here?
Right inside
right
where the beams
inside
are.
that?
It'll be right
Okay.
inside.
Okay.
Oh, okay. That's why it's so high up then.
Right, and it's also to break up the structure because the building is tall, it was big. So it's actually to break a little bit of a view.
So how's that iron gonna look? Is it painted, or is it clad in something?
No, it's
or-
painted, it's 6-inch beams,
Yep.
painted, and
something
then with the fascia on the roof is the same as the fascia on
of
the
building.
here, so it's the same roof and same pitch.
Gotcha.
What color are the, maybe I wasn't paying attention, but. The
Building
iron-
right now is
I know,
of course a gray up top and green down
Yeah.
bottom.
but
And then
the,
that border will be a white.
yeah, but what about the
The windows are white.
entryway there,
The entry with the doors are all aluminum
yeah,
colored.
but
The
Let's
the,
just
frame
talk
will be
about
black.
whatever this thing is,
The steel structure,
what
the,
color is
Yeah,
that gonna
that's,
be?
I mean, right now we have it just black. I
Okay.
mean, I don't know what will, if we could make a color that would, go with the green. It's basically something that's gonna stand out different.
If I remember right, that doesn't affect, you're so far back, it doesn't affect setback, correct?
Right.
no, you get plenty of distance there.
Okay.
Catch though, Kurt.
Yeah.
All right, we have an amendment to the design presented. Just a summary, that the amendment is to add the portical entry.
Can you spell that for Tammy so she knows what you're saying?
Portic.
Oh,
Thank you.
And that actually, the original drawing, she had those steel beams there.
Okay.
Okay, so that was in the original drawing, but they had it cladded
Yeah.
with rock. But they still, if you looked, I think she had arrows pointing to that same superstructure underneath there.
I mean, I think there's some things you could do to make that look pretty cool, but it's not, we don't have design standards.
Correct.
So, yeah. All right, so we have an amendment. Is there a motion? I'll make a motion that we accept the design amendment proposed on the drawings dated 6/10/16. Although noted on the drawing, it doesn't show on the south and north elevations the projection of the
Projection.
structure. So motion, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Lee seconds. We have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
I've said what I want to say.
You want it? Okay.
I don't think, I think this sets a precedent, and I don't think we should go with it. I think something should be, there should be some kind of
I don't think our design
consequences
says
of
any
changing something in midstream. I'm
unless you-
saying that as a citizen also. And that's it.
I understand your frustration. We don't have any ordinances that would allow us to do anything similar to that.
It goes beyond the ordinance, Kurt. It goes beyond things that are given to us to approve and then changed.
Okay. Lee, any discussion? Katie? Judy? All right. Take a vote on the amendment for Brooks Dance Center. All those in favor? All those opposed? 4-1.
Thank you, Dave.
I think you guys need to get on this, you know what I mean? These aren't a complete set, so these...
No, I had to redo the elevation because nothing else, again, we didn't change.
But I mean, even these drawings aren't right.
Oh, okay, because of the out protrusion, right?
Yeah.
In fact, you did them quick for us, just to give it a
You guys
view.
need to get another architect.
Yeah, she's fine. I agree.
Thanks, Dave.
Yeah.
Okay. Communication, findings of fact for the notice of decision for Woody's Bar and Grill. That was approved.
Yeah, that's your copy. I will get a copy to the Board of Selectmen.
Okay.
He had it all, he took it right down to York County and
He's
got it
already registered?
recorded and, yeah. Before I could say anything, it was done and back on my desk and it's like, whoa,
Yeah, it's not usual that we see the register of deeds already on it.
right,
Okay.
yeah.
Lee J,
Yeah.
any miscellaneous?
Nope.
Glenn?
No, it kind of bothers me what happened tonight, and I think there's a really clean, easy answer, and that's just to be more clear to the applicant.
Yeah, I mean, I'm,
In the findings of facts, it had it in there.
I don't remember seeing it on there, but
Yes, it did.
it was in the findings of fact that...
Yes, it
Yeah,
was.
I saw it.
I
I-
pulled all that paperwork.
I guess as it goes, where I'm headed would be the same thing as taking lead from Glenn's comment. But I think what needs to happen, at least until design standards are adopted, is that whether it's Glenn or Tammy or myself, and I'm only here one day a week, and so I don't get to meet with developers a lot prior to their submission, is to make sure that they understand that what they submit is what's going to be reviewed by the planning board and approved. Even if it's not part of a design standard, if that's what's represented. So moving forward, I think it's behoovant upon us as staff to make sure that that is clear to people. And
The only thing that bothers me on that is you get the person then that's going to read between the lines and they're just going to give us a stick figure.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear
They're just going to give us a stick figure because they don't want to be responsible for anything.
well,
We don't have to approve a stick figure.
by the same token, I mean, they're not required to provide building elevations. If they do that voluntarily,
I think you are required to do for site plan.
We are, or they are. They have to submit as much as it takes to get a building permit. A building permit would require elevations, and that they submit to the planning board.
Because
That's
we've always
then
reviewed
you're
those.
not going to get a stick figure.
Right.
You're going to get something beyond that.
Somehow.
You get the savvy person and they're going to, you know what I mean? It's,
May I ask one more question, even though we've sort of closed it?
as long as it's not addressing a specific applicant.
It's addressing the applicant we've been talking about, so I may
If
not.
you could put it into a generic term.
So if someone brings up a plan and it has extensive landscaping on it, can they change that?
Yes, they can.
Mhm.
They did.
Everybody's looking at me.
Landscaping.
I mean, they can. I mean, again, if you know, the town, we're in a catch-22 in the sense that certainly people can represent things to the board, like the landscaping, and not be held to it, because we're also trying to be somewhat pro-economic development related in the community, and the layer that would need to be added that makes it more difficult for someone is that they would be required to submit a letter of credit, a bond, something of that sort that we would then have to manage and watch to make sure that they do exactly what they say they're going to do relevant to parking and landscaping and stormwater, and have someone go out and visit the site during construction.
Send me, I'll take care of it.
and make sure that they adhere to all that, which means that they're paying for a bond to carry a bond of, you know, maybe $100,000 or $50,000 or whatever the cost of the landscaping may be, and staff time going out, you know, every week or so, making sure that what they're doing. Sometimes, I mean, in the situation we're in, we take it for their word that that's what they're doing in many cases. But unless you want to add another layer of government to it and cost to the developer, then, I mean,
That's
short of that,
detrimental to business coming in, and I understand that.
I mean, so yes, there are ways to make sure they do exactly what they say they're going to do relevant to the site plan and the things that the planning board does have control over. But it also means an extra layer of, you know, providing a bond or a letter of credit to the city, to the town, to us having to monitor it, then having to go through a release process, and to making sure that they do that. And if they don't do that, calling that money in to make sure it's done right. I mean, it becomes very cumbersome, or it can. So we need to.
I mean, it's hard enough to open a business in this town anyway, you know?
There you go. That's right.
You're talking days of, oh, you gotta talk to this one, you gotta talk to that one over here. Well, I got this over here.
That's right. So
And-
there's the need to strike the balance, and the balance,
Right.
you know,
It
that's
shouldn't
really
be just a breeze through the park.
correct.
You should be able, you know, but it should be pretty easy to do.
Streamlined process.
Right.
Do we know where we stand with the design standards?
They are going to be scheduled to go in front of the Selectmen at this point. I've provided a presentation to them, but with the campground ordinance and with the Shoreland zoning stuff that we're working on, and with the 2.08, which was their first priority, it's been kind of pushed back a little bit, but it's on their radar screen and they know it's coming, because the presentation has been done for them.
Thank you.
I feel your passion, Judy, in the sense that we were sold. You know, if an applicant comes to the planning board and represents something, you know, like Glenn says, the planning board needs to make the effort from now on, saying this representation is what's going to be the reality, and we need to make it formal.
Well, I think we've been burned twice. I think we'll do that.
Other one we just did.
All right.
Plans
I'm
were-
gonna, just because we're out of agenda items, you know,
Yes.
conclude this meeting. I'll make a motion that we conclude the meeting at 7:28. Second, any discussion? All those in favor? Planning board's